Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches, which are happening on Friday, April 14, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and to push the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also check out our Patreon if you want access to our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money, and if you are interested in props and parlay picks, check out our new channel High Stakes Props and Parlays, where you can find our player props and parlay picks predictions. You will find the link to our Patreon and to our new channel in the description and comments section below. Texas Rangers vs Houston Astros. The Rangers are 15-40 in the last 55 meetings between these teams and 16-38 in the last 54 meetings in Houston. Perez has been all or nothing in his career against Houston, throwing complete games or getting roughed up for 5+ earned runs. In 2 of his 5 starts against the Stros last year, he gave up 12 earned runs on 15 hits in 10 combined innings. In the other 3, he surrendered 2 earned runs in 23 innings of work. Which version will we see on Friday? The Stros are having more success against left-handed pitchers this season, with a higher batting average, .273 versus .251, a higher slugging percentage, .505 versus .361, and a higher OPS, .838 versus .699. They've recorded 27 hits in 99 at-bats, with 5 homers, 17 RBI, 10 walks, and 11 strikeouts. Their KR8 versus lefties, 11.1%, is much lower than it is against right-handers, 28.7%, as well. Several Houston hitters have had success against Perez in the past, including Martin Maldonado, 10 hits in 21 abs, Kyle Tucker, 7 hits in 16 abs, and Chas McCormick, 5 hits in 13 abs. Garcia hasn't had his best stuff so far this season, but I'm confident he will start to find his groove soon. With Corey Seager sidelined and Mitch Garver out, this Rangers lineup is less deadly than usual. Most of the Texas hitters have had limited abs against Garcia. If he gets a few runs of insurance early, the Astros could cruise to a victory. A more aggressive bettor might opt for the Astros RL -1.5, but I feel more comfortable betting on the home team moneyline, given Garcia's inconsistent play so far. Our team pick is Astros moneyline. Texas bounced back against Kansas City after losing 2 of 3 to the Chicago Cubs, but had some of the wind come out of its sails in Wednesday's 10-1 defeat. The Rangers bought a team that should be competitive this year, and while the season-opening sweep of Philadelphia was encouraging, beating in-state and division rival Houston would be that much sweeter. Our total pick is over. Atlanta Braves vs Kansas City Royals. Kansas City's bats finally came alive in their series finale with Texas as they demolished the American League foe 10-1 Wednesday evening. After Brad Keller gave up a solo home run in the first, the Royals went on to score the next 10 runs. Keller earned the win after tossing 6.2 innings and punching out 7 batters. Vinny Pasquantino was the only player to homer for Kansas City, hitting his second of the year. Bobby Witt Jr. had a breakout game, going 3-5 and collecting an RBI. Franmil Reyes added 2 hits while driving in a run as well. When the dust settled, the Royals collected 14 hits and broke double digits in the scoring category for the first time this season. Even though we saw the Royals' bats come alive in their recent matchup with the Rangers, I'm not convinced that this offense has taken a turn for the better. They're still the second worst offense in the league, sitting at 29th in both team average, .204, and OPS, .605. Things won't get much easier as they're running into veteran pitcher Charlie Morton Friday night. The current roster, although skewed due to a 1-24, .042 performance from Jackie Bradley Jr., is just 6-45, .133 against Morton in his career. That includes key players of Salvador Perez and Franmil Reyes being a combined 0-7, .000. While the Braves are nursing a couple of injuries, I expect them to do enough to collect the win Friday night in Kansas City. Look for the big guns at the top of the order to carry the team, while the elite pitching staff of Atlanta excels on the other end. Let's ride with the Braves on the money line. With a total set at 9.0, it means that we would need to see 10 runs in order to lose our bet on the under. Being that Atlanta will be without Orlando Arcia, Travis d'Arnaud, and former Rookie of the Year Michael Harris, it presents the opportunity for Kansas City to try and hold Atlanta under 5 or 6 runs. If they're able to do that, we should see this score stay way under the total. However, I still think the Braves have enough offense to win the game. I'm also expecting Morton to turn in a nice start against this lowly Royals offense before handing it over to one of the best bullpens in the game. Atlanta is currently 7th in bullpen ERA, 3.17, and 4th in WHIP, 1.07. All things considered, this number is just too high in my opinion. Let's lock in the under. Pittsburgh Pirates vs St. Louis Cardinals. St. Louis enters this game coming off a series win against the Rockies in their previous series and having dropped Game 1 in a 5-0 loss in their first game of their current series against the Pirates. Jordan Montgomery got the start and the loss for the Cards, despite throwing 6.1 solid innings, in which he allowed 6 hits that resulted in 2 runs while striking out 5. From then on it was a bullpen game for the Cards, with them using a variety of pitchers in an attempt to keep them in the game. If you didn't guess it by the team's 0-run total on the night, there was little to no offense for the Cardinals in Game 1. Brendan Donovan had the team's only multi-hit game on the night, going 2-5, while a couple other hitters got a knock, including Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. Obviously there were no runs scored or RBIs on the night, with a couple of walks mixed in. Taking the Cardinals to win this game for a couple of reasons. This is the second game of the series, and the Cardinals got popped in the mouth last night with a 5-0 loss in Game 1. With that being the situation, and the Cardinals playing at home, I expect us to see a bounce-back game here in Game 2. The Cardinals are starting Jake Woodford, who has struggled to start the season with an 0-2 record, but he should be more than capable of throwing some solid innings against a below-average Pirates lineup fresh off the O'Neill Cruz injury. The Pirates are also starting Johan Oviedo, who is not much better than Jake Woodford and is facing a much more imposing lineup as the Cardinals have a couple of big hitters scattered throughout their lineup. The odds of the Cardinals getting shut out again are very low, and I believe we will see quite the opposite with them hanging up a considerable amount of runs in Game 2. When these teams have faced off in the past, the Pirates are 3-8 in their past 11 meetings in St. Louis and are 19-41 in their past 60 meetings overall, making me confident in taking the Cardinals to win this game. St. Louis Cardinals money line. Taking the over in this matchup for a couple of reasons. Early line movement has already seen this total move up to 9 over the course of the night, indicating sharp action on the over. In Game 1 we saw the Pirates win in a 5-0 shutout, and odds are the Cardinals are going to answer back in Game 2. Both teams are starting very subpar pitchers in Oviedo and Woodford, who have struggled in their first couple starts on the season and have allowed plenty of runs in limited innings. I see both teams putting runs on the board early and frequently, with both teams ultimately covering their portion of the total. Expect the big hitters, such as Brian Reynolds, Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado, to have couple of knocks on the night, as they have been relatively quiet in their past couple of games. In terms of trends, when these teams have faced off in the past, the over is 3-1-1 in their past 5 meetings and is 7-3-1 in their past 11 meetings in St. Louis, making me all the more confident in taking the over for this matchup. Over 8.5 runs. New York Mets vs Oakland Athletics. There's just no way that I can back Oakland considering how poorly they've been playing this year. While the Mets haven't lived up to the expectations yet, they'll have an opportunity to bounce back against a subpar pitcher in James Kaprielian Friday night. The right-hander has been getting shelled this year, allowing 4 home runs over his first 2 starts. He comes in with an 11.17 ERA and 1.97 WHIP. We do not have any head-to-head numbers for the Mets against him, but I'm confident that they can rebound and tee off on the right-hander. On the flip side, Kodai Senga will head to the bump for New York, and he's been spectacular. I'll dive into his numbers below, but I expect him to turn in another quality outing Friday. Let's ride with the Mets minus 1.5 here. In an early season filled with injuries and underperformers, Senga has been a bright spot for the Mets. The Japanese-born hurler seems to be transitioning to the majors just fine, owning a 2-0 record with a 1.59 ERA and 1.06 WHIP. Look for the righty to bury this lousy Athletics offense and hold them to under a couple of runs. While I believe the Mets will break out for a few runs in this game, we still have to take their lack of offensive production at face value. They haven't been hitting well and are tied with the A's at 24th, with just 51 runs scored. All things considered, I'm expecting this one to stay slightly under the total. Let's root for pitching and defense here, give me the under. Milwaukee Brewers vs San Diego Padres. The Milwaukee Brewers have cooled down a bit. They have been shut out twice in the last week and lost 2 of 3 to the Diamondbacks this week. The Bats only managed to score 10 runs in 3 games against the Diamondbacks. The San Diego Padres have won 4 of their last 6 clashes entering Friday and have won 3 of their last 4 home games on the season. Furthermore, Padres starter Michael Wacha has been solid. He registered 6 shutout innings against the Braves last time out, striking out 10 batters in the 4-1 win. The veteran has contained the Brewers throughout his career, sporting a 3.38 ERA and a shiny 6-0 record. Wacha's resurgence so far has been impressive, but it's not something I'm completely comfortable in expecting to continue. San Diego's bats are talented enough to bail Wacha out at times, and while they've yet to be needed in that regard this year, I'm guessing it won't be long before that does end up being the case. Lauer only tops out at 96 mph with his fastball, which is something I fully expect this Padres lineup to handle, and a 4.30 U record at home now, with an average total score of 8.57 runs per home game. The numbers and the situational spot suggest the Padres bats will wake up in a big way here. San Diego has yet to play consecutive games under the total at home this year, and riding a current 4-game under streak heading into Friday, I believe the home crowd is treated to watching a lot of scoring tonight. Our total pick is over. Colorado Rockies vs Seattle Mariners. I'm going with the Mariners only because of their bullpen. The starting duo will have a tall task in this matchup, and I'm expecting Seattle's relievers to make a difference down the stretch. Marco Gonzalez won't miss a lot of bats, for sure, and it's hard to trust Austin Gomber, too, as the Rockies' lefty has been pretty much awful over the last 2 years. The Mariners are not hitting the lefties well in 2023, .607 ops, but that could easily change when they meet Gomber. The Rockies' bullpen is struggling early in the season, and I'm expecting to see more of the same at T-Mobile Park. Take the Seattle Mariners. These teams entered this series with 14 overs combined so far this season. The last 4 meetings between these two have gone under, but the last 2 games saw 10 and 9 runs total, respectively. The Rockies' last 6 games have all totaled over 11 or more runs. The over is 4-0 for the Mariners in Gonzalez's last 4 starts at home, as well as the team's last 4 games versus a lefty starter. The under is also 5-0 in the Rockies' last 5 interleague games against teams with a losing record. 4 of the Mariners' last 6 games at home have tallied 9 or more runs. Take the over 8 runs. Chicago Cubs vs Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers hold a 7-6 record this season. They have lost 4 of their last 6 games entering Friday night. Los Angeles have won 2 of their 4 series to begin the year. They are coming off of a series against the Giants where they won 2 of their 3 games against them. In their latest game, Los Angeles defeated the Giants 10-5 on Wednesday, April 12. The Giants opened with a 3-0 lead, but the Dodgers responded by scoring 10 straight runs. Max Muncy highlighted the game with 2 home runs. He finished with 4 RBIs in the win. Clayton Kershaw earned the win for the Dodgers. He allowed 2 earned runs, but struck out 4 batters in the win. Syndergaard's latest performance frightens me if I am betting the Dodgers on Friday. He struggled allowing 6 earned runs in 4 innings of work. The Dodgers lost to Arizona in that game. The Cubs have found some early season form over the past week. Their starting pitcher, Steele, has allowed just 1 earned run in 12 innings of work. That sort of efficiency is something that will be pivotal in this game. Take the Cubs to cover. The offenses have been humming for both sides, and Friday night will be another example. Hitting home runs have been key to the team's success, and if they are flying out of the ballpark, expect the over to hit. The over is 4-1 in the Cubs' last 5 games following a loss. The over is 4-1-1 in the Dodgers' last 6 overall. Take the over on Friday.